You wake up in the morning and you think, okay, this could be a good day, whatever that means. You don't know, right, what a good day is, but maybe you've had a couple and they're not so bad, and so maybe you think you could have another one, but you don't know, and you think, okay, you ask yourself, and this is meditative, what is it that I need to do today so that this would be a good day? And your brain will tell you, it'll say, you know that bill that's hiding under 5 pieces of paper on your desk? You should haul that sucker out and pay it. Or there's something you're avoiding that makes you anxious that your brain will pick on right away, and it'll say, you have to do these, whatever number of commitments today, and if you do them, then you've fulfilled your obligations. And the idea behind this piece of advice is that if you fulfill your obligations every day, then you don't have to worry about the future. And that's a very interesting idea. And it's predicated on the notion that there's a wisdom inside people that's deeper than mere rationality. And I believe that to be the case because we're far older than mere rationality. From an evolutionary perspective, from any perspective you want, we're deeper than rationality. And we know, psychologists have learned in the last 20 years, that rationality is bounded ridiculously in all sorts of different ways. It's not the master, it's a servant. And it's an unruly servant, even though it can be a very powerful one. The totality of you, the wisdom that's embodied in the totality of you, is far outstrips rationality. And if you listen to yourself and do the difficult things that yourself tells you to do, the idea is you don't have to compute the utopian future, because following what it is that you tell yourself to do every moment is the best path to whatever the best outcome is. It's a strange way of thinking, because if you're a utopian and a rationalist, you already know what the right outcome is. And then you have to run around pointing guns at people to make bloody sure that they do the right thing so that the outcome you've computed occurs. And that doesn't seem to work very well. And so you see this idea in Taoism too. The idea is to give up the end, because you don't know what it is, and you don't. It's an admission of ignorance. Where are you headed? You don't know, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be headed somewhere. Follow your moral intuitions. Stop doing the things that make you feel weak. I'm not talking about following a moral code, although that can come into it. If you really don't know what the hell you're doing at all, then following a moral code is a good idea, because it'll at least get the ball rolling. It's a form of apprenticeship. So, you know, not doing the obviously bad things is a form of discipline. It isn't the notion that I'm talking about now. This is a different thing. This is, pay attention to what's meaningful, because you can see what that is. You may find you're terrified of it, because everybody's got this little secret wish. I really love doing, I don't know what it is. It's different things for different people. But they're afraid to do it, to really do it, because as soon as you do what you really love, then you expose your nakedness, right? You say, this is what I'm really like. Instead, you just shove that under the bed and you do something you don't care about at all, and then if people judge you, it doesn't matter. But the problem with that is there's no life there. There's no force. There's no you. And without that, the suffering will do you in, and then you'll become a bad person. And that's not a good thing. So you have to see what it is that you find meaningful, whatever that is, and then you have to fight for it. You have to fight against yourself. You have to fight against other people, because what do they know about it? And you have to fight against nature, maybe even, to stand up for what it is that sustains you. And that takes courage. It also takes honesty. Partly because if you're not honest, you can't trust your own intuition. So this is an important thing. You think about this, and this is why virtue is a necessity. If you lie to yourself or to other people, then you corrupt the structure that you use to interact with being. You corrupt it. And if you corrupt it, then if you listen to it, it will guide you the wrong way. Or maybe it'll be so corrupted you can't listen to it at all. Then you have to listen to somebody else. And that might not be a good thing, especially if you're already corrupted. Because then you'll listen to the person who tells you to do what you really want to do, but won't admit it to yourself. And that explains how Hitler found all his followers. They'd abandoned their own mode of being. It made them bitter and resentful and empty and hollow and weak and cruel. And then they trained their leader to tell them what they wanted to hear. If you're honest, which is painful, you'll see that a lot of things you say aren't real. You'll see a lot of things that you do make you weak. You'll see that a lot of people you associate with are probably not good for you. And then you have a lot of difficult choices to make. You can stop with the obvious lying. That'll clear things up for you a lot. And you can start communicating with people. One of the things I teach my clients is if you're resentful, say something about it. Say something about it. You tell the person, look, what you asked me to do is making me resentful. Now, if they're your wife or husband or someone you love, you should listen to them, because they might say, well, grow up. Take your damn responsibility and leave me alone. And maybe they're right. Or maybe they're a bit of a bully, and you have to say, quit pushing me around. And then maybe you have to have an argument with them, an honest argument, where you say, look, this is what's happening to me. And they say, look, this is what's happening to me. And you battle it out until you reach some sort of settlement, and then you don't have to be resentful anymore. Then you won't be mean and cruel and vicious. And you have to be honest in order to do that.